brought me sprinkle cookies.
So what, no fucking TV now? Hey!
Maybe she's from Jersey. What's up, everyone? Welcome back. Another episode of Maybe She's from Jersey. We're your hosts, Jackie Neese.
And Alex Curtis.
And we're so excited to be spending this Monday morning with you. We have a very exciting guest for you today. She is no other than my amazing stylist, but also a mother, an entrepreneur, a business owner, a go-getter. She's brilliant. She's beautiful. She's one of the most empowering women I've ever met. I'm really hyping you up, but I really think all these things of her. This is my stylist, Engie. Everyone say hi.
Hi. Thank you for having me back. This is so exciting.
Yeah, we needed you back.
We had her on season 1. If you haven't heard that episode, definitely check it out. But for the people who did listen to that episode, we had so many incredible responses. I mean, duh. But everyone was like, we loved hearing her story. That was such a great episode. That was one of our favorites. So we thought, you know, by popular demand, bring Engie back. Let's hear more of her story. We're going to chat a little fashion today, a little what's coming up, Engie's experiences and, you know, your story of becoming a stylist, you know, life, things like that, how things change, and all that good stuff. So grab your coffee. Let's hang out.
Yeah, speaking of coffee. Okay, guys, so we tried this adorable new spot in Hoboken. It's called Pour More Coffee.
Yeah.
I don't remember which street it's on.
It's on Washington Street between 2nd and 1st.
Washington Street between 2nd and 1st. But it's really adorable. They're pretty new, family business. And I think today what did I get? I got a latte with a brown sugar spice, like, pump of syrup, I guess it was.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
Their coffee actually, like, we've tried many coffee spots and it's always a hit or miss, but this spot is actually like strong, good coffee.
That was like, okay, so I got just a cappuccino with oat milk, and then it was like a brown spice.
Yeah.
I think it's called spice brown sugar. I don't know. It's the solid combination of like strong coffee, but with like a really nice taste. Like it's not too sweet. And I always get nervous, especially when I get a cappuccino with like a flavor that it's like too much. What'd you get, Engie?
I always get dirty chai, iced.
See, I'm not a chai
One
gal.
shot. You're not. Did you try it?
It's spicy though. Like the chai spice.
A little
really,
spice.
It really gets in my throat.
Didn't get chai.
Well, definitely check out Pour More in Hoboken on Washington Street. I love the name as well.
Yeah, it looks so cute inside too. It's really cozy.
Really
there are
cute.
people sitting by the window, like hanging out. Like it's definitely a good coffee shop if you want to like meet up with somebody.
Yeah.
Maybe go on a cute date.
Yeah, it was really, really cute. And also you could tell that the staff there is very like family-esque. Like everyone had such a great relationship with each other. You know, when you walk in, you could just feel that.
You either feel tension or you feel love.
You're like, someone just got in an argument.
Yeah. All right, guys, let's jump right in because we have a lot to catch up on. So last time you were here, we discussed, one, how you started your business, some celebrity stories, and some like funny stories that you had. I remember the one you were saying you were like running down like with your other assistant, I guess, with like a bunch of clothing. So we can kind of go in whatever direction you want to start with.
Can we start on like, I guess from like the last time we spoke with you, what has gone on in your career since then? Because I feel like there's been so many incredible things, especially right now with Joshua. Like, that's so exciting. I feel like there's just been so much going on. Joshua!
I feel like I'm very blessed because a lot of my clients have been like keeping me, thankfully, since they started. So like when you see them continue their success and they're growing and you're like kind of growing with them, it's empowering, but it also feels like you're doing your job great, but you're so proud of them.
Yeah.
Because you're just kind of like, you saw that hard work. You saw like that I'm never giving up. And then, I mean, Joshua Henry, he is mostly known as a Broadway star.
Okay.
And he is in the 30-year anniversary for Beauty and the Beast. He plays
Wait,
Gaston.
I have that on my list to watch.
Yes.
He's
I added it
Gaston.
yesterday. Okay.
He is amazing. He is like, has the most incredible voice. Like he is so
Incredible.
soulful.
I'm excited. Okay.
He is an amazing actor, and he was in Tick Tick Boom with Vanessa Hudgens, and so he does all that. So he just released a single at the same time, so it's fun and memorable because it's like he literally got signed. We already were 4 years in,
Right.
and then it was like doing music videos, but like I'm also an actor, so it's like how do we make it still on brand and still like look at the part. So I feel like with this last red carpet, well, he had like 3 in the same week, but the last one for the premiere for Beauty and the Beast, it was like, I almost teared because I was like, I got so many inbox messages from people and his fans, and they were like, oh my God, it was just like perfect look on him. He looked amazing. And it was like so on where he like had his music vibe.
Yeah.
And it was also like very Gaston. There's a lot that goes into it that people are like, you just put a shirt and like leather pants on. I'm like, no, there's like, it's like mood boards and like album listening.
Remember in one of my first meetings with Engie when we were working on like one of my first mood boards for one of my music videos. I don't even remember how the conversation got brought up, but I was talking about Joshua Henry because I grew up in musical theater and I've seen him in several Broadway musicals, and I literally have always been obsessed with him. His voice is just so incredible. This turned into like a Joshua Henry hype club, but I
know,
so
I can't
okay
wait
with
to
it.
watch the Beauty and the Beast.
You would love his voice.
I didn't
He's
know
insane.
like he was there, but
He's
I
in-
already had it in my queue.
He's Into the Woods too. He's in
Yeah.
that Broadway show.
But I remember I was talking about him, and she was like, Joshua Henry? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, I style him. I literally was just on the phone with him, and I was like, what are you talking about?
How do you do a mood board?
I get inspired from the talent themselves first and kind of ask them a couple questions like, what do you want to look like? What do you want to be? What do you want people to perceive you and see when they see like this image of you? And they have to be like obviously very honest, like, and then if they have music, they'll send it. If they're on a film, sometimes they want to continue that character role while they're doing their press. And then also just like, you know, after COVID, it was just a lot about like feeling really good.
Right.
And for me, the biggest part was like reminding them on the board, like, let's bring back the celebrity. Let's bring back, you know, dressing to like inspire people to like, let's go out. I want to look like that. I want to be an icon.
I agree. I think I'm curious how you feel about this. Do you think like a lot of your celebrity stylists that are either actors or some sort of profession in the industry, are they trying to dress for themselves or for mostly what they're trying to be perceived as, depending on what their role is?
So I feel like it's a mix because it's like, even when you're saying like, right now, I'm an entrepreneur and I'm going to go to an event as myself, Engie Hassan, I'm dressing for myself, but I'm like a brand in my head. And I think I do it that way because it's like easier to figure out what you're going to wear, you know, just so I can edit my closet. But I feel like people, and no matter what, it's like you kind of bring on this persona. Like when you're a teenager, you might be into like, you know, certain kind of trends.
I have like my emo phase.
Yeah, everyone have their like. So it's like it's a little like even if you're not a celebrity, I feel like you still like have a phase or like a trend that ends up making you like a persona.
Yeah. Have you ever had a client that like didn't really know what their style was?
Yeah. So a lot of clients, especially now, I got a lot of new clients the last 3 years, and a lot of them had transitions. Either they had a baby, either they still were, you know, COVID. And it's not about the weight. I feel like just COVID, I call it like COVID tiredness or COVID lack of like needing to dress.
Yeah.
So they're still in like, I can be relaxed, which you can be, but you know, that's a loose term when it comes to like to me. Like I feel with them, I'm like, let's give your best foot forward, whatever that means to you. So if it's you're a jeans and a t-shirt girl or guy, okay, but let's get the cool t-shirt that inspires people or something.
Yeah.
So you're just gonna vamp up what they like.
Add something, add accessories. And you know, I don't want it to look like a lookbook where like you look at the person, you're like, I could have thought that. Like, I want to be more creative and stuff with them. So
okay, that makes sense.
And all of them do. They do come knowing, but they still need you to like edit their head, like figure out like what the color can be, or sometimes like they'll want to wear something and it's not for that right event.
I agree. I think details, like most people, including myself, are not great at. Like I can understand like a vibe that I want to like kind of portray, but it's the details that I'm like, I'm overwhelmed.
Yeah. You send me this dress, and if I say like, it could be so great, but I could be like, well, why wear that when you could be wearing that to like, you know, out with friends? Yeah. Let's get something a little bit more, you know, fashion forward or editorial and like gives your personality out there with an accent.
So maybe, can you explain, like, I guess you just said that the one was voted for a director role, but who else have you been styling recently?
Sure. I style a woman named Benaz. She's a CEO of Brother Valleys. And she used to be the CMO of Stuart Weitzman, and before that, Gucci.
Oh.
And and we were connected by a mutual friend, her cousin, but my friend. And it was for like the Glamour Woman of the Year Awards
You go to a lot of awards. You style a lot of people for a lot of awards.
Yeah, like red carpet queen over here. Stylist.
Everyone's winning awards.
We are
red
all
carpet
You're
queen.
winning an award tonight. I
That
promise
is
you.
crazy.
Red carpet queen. I love that.
So she also is an activist and a philanthropist and just an empowering woman. So I wanted that to like show.
Yeah.
So she just had a baby, COVID, and it was the actual one of the first events since COVID, since after the pandemic. And it was like, where do you even start? Like, you know, and that for me was like, we didn't even know each other yet at all. So it was like, and she's in the industry, so like, they know fashion.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you want to like take it up even 2 notches and make them, and like, you know, make them feel really good, but also like, they'll know like if it, like their feedback will be important because they know what really kind of does work on them.
Right.
Yeah.
So do you contact these people, or do they have people that contact you, or how does that work since they are kind of like higher? It's not just me on the street, you know, like.
Well, I do style people just like you on the street, but it comes like, to be honest, like it's always referrals.
Okay.
And then like even when I first started, it was like I did Amir Ersan from The Blacklist. His publicist introduced me to Joshua.
I love The Blacklist.
Yeah, so it was like, you know, it's a lot of referring, and then now with Instagram, it's like they'll see me styling someone at the event, and then I guess they see that posted, and they were at that event, maybe in a picture with that client, and then they'll reach out to me and ask me to dress, which just happened with 3 different people.
That's awesome.
It was insane.
Wow. So you like never really know how busy you're going to be because like people come at you left and right.
I do know, because I have the fashion and media calendar of the year, so I know when
Oh,
it
so
will
like certain
get.
times of year, you like know you're going to get hit.
Yeah, it's really important to stay very organized and have like a calendar and stuff.
I love the saying for the arts specifically, just anything with like fashion, music, entertainment, and anything is like the hurry up and wait. There's no like 9 to 5, Monday through
Right.
Friday. Like
No.
you could have like a week of just like dead nothing and then like 3 months of like the busiest shit of your life. But like you kind of have to use that downtime to prep and make sure everything's like ready to go for when you need to go. It's like,
and also rest. That's
Yeah.
the time where like
Yeah.
we've even learned that now. Like it's just like in my home with my daughter, my husband, my and my parents. I always used to say to them, "This is when I can go on vacation. Don't ask me during Fashion Week. Like, why aren't you here?" Like they know now. They don't even call me during Fashion Week to come over for dinner. They just like leave her.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
But like also I've been doing a lot of activists. Like I just did another woman who won the Freedom Speech Award.
Wow.
That's awesome.
So it's just like, it's been amazing. I feel like I love it because I'm styling people who have a meaning or doing something back to this community and this world.
Yeah.
So since I spoke to you guys, one of my first films came out in the movie theater. So
Wow.
that's really great.
Which one?
Sanctioning Evil.
Oh, okay. I'll have to go see it.
Yes.
I'm
You
a big
should.
movie buff.
It's on Apple TV right now.
Okay.
Yeah. You guys should go check it out.
Go check it out, everyone.
Do you prefer personal style, or do you prefer like, I know you do movies and shows, like what's more entertaining for you? Like what do you enjoy more?
So this is such a loaded question because like
I know nothing about
in a good way
like a
that you asked
costume
this.
designing
I
aspect.
think like if you caught me on a certain day, I would be like, I'm doing movies and it's amazing because you know the schedule and you're on a set for 4 or 5 months. And then I think overall we're lucky to like as stylists to pick and choose, and I'm a freelancer, so like I own my own company, so I could say yes or no.
Yeah.
I do think though, from a lot of the things that have happened to me recently, just the hardships and just like scheduling and being a mom and just kind of like when you're a freelancer and you're not union, there's a lot of like waiting on people to pay you back or pay or like, you know, getting paid.
Yeah.
And it gets very like mentally draining. So I think I'm going to be going on with like more personal styling
it's just
and
easier
red
for you.
carpets. The film is good, but it's just kind of
Yeah.
like, you know, there has been a lot of unfortunate mishaps when it came to that, and it's just kind of like,
You're over it.
yeah, I am. I work very hard, and everyone does, and the crew
Yeah.
works so hard. And these films were during COVID. We left our families, and it's like, you know, there's a time where you just have to like also remember like the people who built this film with you, like, you know, built and
Right.
yeah. So it's not like one time. Like it's even going on in corporate. So like I've stopped doing a lot of work for certain companies because they aren't paying on time. They're taking like a year to pay.
That's ridiculous.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Like
And what's their excuses to you? Like, is
they
it
just
like,
don't care.
oh, they just like drop you for like a few months and
These
you're
are,
like,
I just want
hello?
to make it very clear. These are not small companies.
Yeah.
These are big brand.
That's what I'm saying.
Fortune
Though. So like, what the
500
hell's
companies.
their excuse?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, these companies are Fortune 500 companies, like, and you commit to them because they tell you ahead of time, so you might even drop other projects.
right.
And you're there for a couple weeks, and they just don't care because you're a freelancer. So
Yeah.
if you're a freelancer in New York City, which means that like you're not, you pretty much invoice yourself. That's what it really means. And then in New York, you have 30 days to pay the talent, the creative. If you
Okay.
don't, they're supposed to pay you double.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
So a
okay.
lot of stylists or makeup and hair, people are getting nervous to request that because then they're scared they're not going to get booked again.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of those, like, you could be out almost in a year from work, like $30,000 of different jobs owing you money.
Wow,
So,
that's
yeah, and
It's hard to keep up on too, especially when you're working so much and you're like,
It's-
oh my God, that job back in
Yeah.
January never paid me.
And then exactly.
Yeah.
And, well, I have alarms, and like I have my every Monday is when I ask for money, and every Friday is when I pay people, so they're excited for the weekend. But
Yeah.
I now like have another stylist who like acts as my agent, Tanya, who I love. She will come in and just like email them,
harass people.
and I go in now on jobs. Well, I have technically a billing agent, and even when you are supposed to get that respect from like these huge jobs. Like I remember this huge job, like it was the most insane, like, way that they treated this, like the team. I pretty much I got it last minute, very well paid job, and worked so hard. They called like in the middle of like 9-10 o'clock at night after we finished our day. And let me make it clear, like, it's a huge advertisement. They're asking us, they give us like the sizing the day before we're supposed to shoot
okay.
at 3 p.m. And
they're
yeah,
like,
thank
figure
you.
it out.
Figure it out for, I want to say 12 at least talents.
Yeah.
Oh, boy, okay.
Yeah, it's not, and it's like very detailed. And we're smart enough. We figured it out as stylists, like how to do the process. But anyways, what happens is, that night we were done meeting at one of my assistants, 11 o'clock. We get a call to like start putting looks together because the clients wanted to see the look. So I'm like, sure, I'm always game. Like, let's do it. Whatever time, whatever we have to do it. And I stayed up till like 2. Shoot the next day was going to be, I had to be there 6 a.m. They changed that last minute.
Oh my God.
That's nothing. But what happened was like, when it came to like paying the overtime, it was a conversation. And old Engie would be like, it's okay. Like, that's part of my job. Like,
I'm getting heated.
yeah. Well, because, so what happens is like, I start to get like, you're in the run, you're going, you feel blessed because you have all these jobs. You don't want to like, I don't want to say like burn a bridge, but you're just kind
I
of
know
like
what
keep
you
the
mean.
flow, because when you deal with that, it's just such like this negative energy that you're going to be focusing on that more than keeping the hustle flow, like doing like that.
Yeah.
But then my agent who got me on it, she like, took care of that, and she was like, no,
like, oh,
absolutely
hell no.
not.
Yeah.
And then even for them to pay, like we bought things on our card, so my card.
Yeah.
And we waited months to get it back. It doesn't matter if it's $1.
I know.
Or $12.
It's not.
It's like,
Yeah.
pay me back. You got
Yeah.
30 days. Like, why?
Yeah.
And they did get really annoyed. Oh wait, it gets worse. And then God forbid, my assistant's brother got shot in Miami. This is like a true story. I swear to you, it's really sad. And she stayed on set when she found out because she didn't want to cause chaos.
Is he okay?
Yeah, he's okay. He lived.
Okay.
And then what happened was she didn't even want to tell me because we already had all that like.
She's really trying to be professional. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
So she was like, outside doing like, she had to do more pickups and purchases for the next day of the same shoot. And then I just could tell something was off because she was like, she's very like happy, chipper. And I'm like, what's going on? And like, she wasn't like rude to me, but she wasn't very like, she was messing up a lot.
Standoffish and
No, she was messing up a lot, which is
Really?
not, it's like, but I'm not someone to like be like, what are you doing? To me,
Yeah.
it's like, what's going on?
Yeah, you're like, you're normally okay. What's
Because there's like there's some things that just happen, but like I've never like worked with stylists who like just really just let things go. Like, she's actually a stylist herself. So she just held it in, and at the end of the day she was like, she texted me when she finally got home. And I think she did it on purpose, so like, the flow. And then she said to me like, my brother got shot and I have to go to Miami. I won't be able to come tomorrow. And like, I was just like, all I cared about was like, are you crazy to not tell me earlier?
Yeah.
Like, I'm here for you. And I like actually teared because I felt so bad for her. Like, you know, you become family with these people.
She felt that she needed to.
And I was like, what do you need? Can I drive you there? Can I do that? You know, so we only told one person, like the main person. And that was like, the person we were going back and forth with. We didn't tell the person who actually hired me because we didn't want that, you know, conversation to happen. Everyone coming asking and rumors, because this was a very high profile shoe with a big celebrity. We were trying to stay professional, just so like, you know. And then I changed out the stylist last minute. The job got done perfectly. The clients were happy. I get like a call 2 days later, and it was like the person who hired me was saying like, you know, I just felt like, okay, like some things were a little bit different this time around. I felt like they were trying to make it seem like we weren't prepared, which, dude, like, if you tell me I need a brown dress, we figure it out to get it. Like, within, the clients were happy, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how we did it. It doesn't matter if we were chaotic backstage.
Right.
So then he was like, and you switched, you know, I found out that your assistant's brother got shot, and I wasn't informed of that. And he was like, you know, I got kind of annoyed that whole like switch-a-roo on me, and like, you know, these kind of jobs you can't switch assistants. And I'm like, in my mind I'm like, is he kidding me? He's gonna have this conversation with me about switching out my assistant instead of asking me how is she, how are you, what's going on. And that's how it is. So for me now too, it's like I used to, like, I will never forget, like, when my mother like literally had a heart attack. I was speaking at the UN, so I couldn't like leave, but I remember I tried to get off a job the next day, and they were like so upset.
Yeah.
Like, how dare you?
Because
Yeah,
people
like,
only think about business.
weddings.
They forget to think about human like decency.
It's mostly like if you are a freelancer creator, but like in our industry, there is no, like, if you're sick, you're never gonna get called back. If you're like, and look, I have a daughter now.
It's like a stigma. Like, if you call out once, you're banned.
Yeah, and I didn't care. I stood up for my assistant. I was like, she was so, I actually talked back. I was like, I'm so sorry that was, you know, not the way that you would have wanted this to be done, but she held herself when her brother got shot, and I was like, that's fine. And they actually did not book me for the second part of it for Colorado. And I was really upset, but I wasn't upset. I was hurt because I was like, but everything was done perfectly.
Yeah.
You know, and I felt like I failed, and I got like emotional, and then I was just like, this might not be, I had that moment where like, is this like a career that I want? Like, you know, with my clients that are like my personal styling clients, my red carpet clients, they're amazing because like they know already going in, like, I'm a mother. They're so, God bless. They're so kind. They're like, do you want me to come do a fitting at like your place? So it's, you know, I don't want you to miss out on Alia. And I'll be like, no, it's okay. Like, I could still come to, like, they really try to make everything calm for everybody.
I just think it's a more personal face-to-face interaction versus like those companies. Like,
but those are the companies that like pay you like the big bucks. So like,
just takes a million years to get.
The younger generations who I feel bad, like, I'm already mentoring them. I'm like, doesn't matter the age. I'm like, this is what your hours should be. And they're like, but I was like, I did that. Don't make my mistake. And I was like, from day one, let me like call in and be your agent. Like, I do that for two like stylists that, you know, they're not emerging. They're stylists, but they're younger than me. I tell them, don't like have someone fight for you. That's how it should be.
Yeah.
Always.
Well, like piggybacking off of that, I guess, from experiences like that, what's another experience you've had that was like so rewarding and wonderful that you were like, wow, this is why I do this? Even if it was a small thing, like maybe like personal styling in a moment where someone was like, I haven't felt this beautiful in days. Like, has there been a moment recently that you were like feeling fulfilled?
Yeah. So they send you flowers and notes, but it was like seeing their faces of how thankful they were that something came about. One client of mine actually, like, this is funny because you're asking me, did anybody ever not like something you did? Style them by? So she met me through another client, and then we could never meet prior. We couldn't even get on a Zoom. She's too busy. And, you know, so I was like, can I have your measurements? You know, the measurements are not 100%, so I do whatever I can. And we met and we fitted, and she was very, very, very happy. And, you know, 3 suits, she was winning an awards, huge deal. And it was like 45 minutes. So I was like, I left there feeling like, I'm so good. This is the way of life. 45, like, who does a 45-minute like fitting?
You're
and
like,
we
killed
bonded,
it.
We hugged, we cried. It was insane. And I get like a text message, WhatsApp at like 3 a.m. Like I see just like, I'm like, oh God. And when you first work with somebody, you don't know if you believe in their styling for you right away. You know, you haven't had like the hype yet for someone telling you look beautiful,
right.
and you know,
to
or
validate.
just or just kind of like you're so nervous for your event and it's really not have to do with me. It's just kind of like you getting, you know, finding that wedding dress or finding something. Like for them, it's
right.
like they're still going back and forth. But this industry, it's like there is really no back and forth. It's like this is the fitting, and then we have the second alteration fitting. Like you know, you had that chance. And I say it like that, very like confident, being like, you have to trust me or we can't work together at this point in my life, you know? So pretty much someone told her that like, you know, these are great, but there could be better options.
Right.
And, you know, it's kind of like if I found my dream dress and I told you what you think and you're like.
It could be better.
And I'm like, I just paid like, it's my wedding dress. Like, you know, just think of it like that, you know? So I was like, and then she was like, I'm gonna leave everything at the hotel. You can pick it up tomorrow. And I'm like, in my head, what? I was like, oh, you have diamonds. You can't just like leave it at a hotel. Like my mind just was like, and then I started like, I actually woke up and like,
you're like, are you drunk?
I was just like, what? And I felt like first I was really sad because I'm like, she was like so happy. Like what happened? Like, and you know, in the beginning of my career, I was working with a lot of people, but they were younger, so I could see how people could get in their mind like, you know, you could get a better stylist. She's not known, but like I have my credibility now, so it's kind of like, you know, especially for entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
So, I called my mentor. I was like, this is so weird. So I was like, I'm very confused. You were really happy. You literally hugged me. You brought a friend to say I've never felt so good about myself in this look. And then I gave you 2 extra options that you loved also. So I need you to take a minute and think what is going on here. There's no way. And then a part of me was like a little cocky in a good way. Like, 'cause sometimes you have to like, let it go. So I was just kind of like, if you want to go a different route, that's fine then.
Like I did what I could.
You know? So she met with me, which was great. You know, then I went into like the personal part and I was like, what happened? You felt so good. You said you haven't felt like this like in a long time. So why would you like not want to wear it?
Yeah.
And then we went back and forth and then I was like, you just got to trust me. Can you do that for me? Like you have all this going on for your career right now. Let me just
like, I got
do this.
Yeah.
You gotta trust me. Your friend that you said looked always amazing when I dressed her, so trust me. And then she did. I had to like this time actually go to the event. She felt so good.
So she wore the outfit.
She ended up wearing the outfit. She was so happy. She got a lot of compliments. And you know, she wanted to continue working with me. And of course she like, you know, did this whole blast and she was like, she even like did it like too, you know, personal, saying like, you know, I went with what she said, and I was like, you know, say like just tell people the story.
Like she bullied me into wearing this.
and she was like, you better wear this stuff. And that's the thing, like a lot of people are like, you should have a contract that makes something. I was like, you can't. Like some of the stuff you can't. You just have to like. But I felt so like, it was weird because I was just like, I felt hurt, and I know it's like this is business. You don't have emotions, but it was kind of like I did my job. You liked it. There's a transaction here. You know, this should be done.
Yeah.
And it's like kind of like I feel like, am I like a retail store where you're coming back wearing the outfit and being like, I'm returning it, you know? But I think I handled it the way I had to. I had to be honest and be like, and then I stood up for myself and was like, let's go through those motions.
Yeah, I feel like if you are confident in your craft, you just got to stick to it.
Yeah.
Like I know what I did was right. Like this looks good.
For example, like right now, name a designer you love.
I don't know. I'm not into fashion.
Just pick one. You have to know a brand. Tom Ford.
Versace.
Versace. There you go. We all love Versace. So say like I gifted you a Versace dress and you just didn't like it.
Yeah.
But you loved it first when I gave it to you, and even when you had it on. But then later on, you put it on, and maybe your roommate said, that doesn't really flatter you.
Yeah.
How are you gonna feel?
That would 100%. I'd take it off.
Exactly.
I
I
think
wouldn't.
My biggest thing
I
with
would
that,
not do it.
Yeah.
Because I'd be like, who are you to tell me I'm not good at this?
You know what
Exactly.
I don't do is ask other people for their opinion.
Yes, I
There
was
you
just
go.
going to say that. You really have to go on what you feel. And that was a huge thing I also learned with like style was never my biggest like artistic outlet. And that's why I'm so grateful for Engie because I literally FaceTime her all the time. I'm like, help. But I like something I learned with Engie was like, I can't ask a million people what they think. I have to go off what me and Engie created together and how I feel with that and like how you feel with that. And that's what matters most.
I mean, like, for example, for Joshua, we've already worked together for like literally almost 8 years. But because he's transitioning different times to like different personas, sometimes the manager will call and be like, okay, for next time, the round is going to be more like this, or we're doing this. And that's okay to me. You know? But if you're going to call, like, your sister who doesn't even know who Tom Ford is, why is she giving you an opinion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, I don't really ask many people for their opinions because once I like something, I'm like, don't ruin it for me.
Yeah, literally. That's me too. I'm like, I like this and I'm going to do this.
My thing is like, don't I look good?
Yeah.
And also, like, you might like, perfect example, I remember a lot of things I wore, people would call it very theatrical or very clown circus.
Okay.
Because I was very, stylish. Thank you. I wasn't the girl just wearing the jeans. And if I wore jeans and a t-shirt, it had lots of accessories going on.
It wasn't just jeans and t-shirts.
But I remember, like, it did hurt me. And then I stopped trying to be my own person because I was trying to fit a mold. So, like, there's a lot of therapy and psychology that can go behind, with this question. But my thing is, like, as a stylist, just saying to people who are listening, I think it's really important to, like, know what you do like and what doesn't work for you. You know, if it was like, hey, I feel like it's too tight and my, or my chest is showing and that's not me, that's a different thing than just being like so happy and going to be like so sad.
Yeah. I feel like too, like we were talking about how fashion can really collide with mental health, like how you feel about yourself,
100%.
how you want to present yourself, whatever. Like it really makes a difference when you feel good, whether it's your makeup, your hair, your outfit, whatever it is, like you feel like a brand new person.
Agreed.
100%.
And I literally strive for that every day, but then I roll out of bed and I'm like, not today.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
No, and that's fine.
Tomorrow.
Whatever, like, you can do for your mental health.
Can we talk some about like funny stories or celebrities that you had? I know you had a list.
Yeah, let's talk. So, our industry, like, anybody in, I think, creative field, but definitely stylists can tell you that, like, you can, like, you could be, like, doing nothing for a day, and then it's like, I need this outfit right now, this second. Yeah. And, like, 2 colors. Yeah. And it'd be, like, it's, like, literally a 1 hour notice, or something goes with, like,
And is it because you actually, like, do it, or like how do people just expect you to do that? Like,
it comes with a job. So because it's a red carpet, we're trying to go with it differently. It's like they're going to be given the attire instead of paying for it. So we reached out to a designer who I used for her royal look. So we reached out to him, me and my team, and it took a lot of convincing because they're not used to princesses getting the look for free to wear. In return, it's like more like a purchase. So then Zuhair Murad, the designer, was customizing her a beautiful look. So I asked her, what do you want to wear for the awards? Do you want to go traditional route, meaning like her own cultural kind of clothing, or do you want to go more westernized, meaning American style? And, she wanted to go American style, which is, kind of makes sense, right? In my head, I didn't think she should. I wanted her to go the traditional route just because it was like, these are very empowering kind of award shows.
right.
And a lot of people do it. Plus, I knew that Malala was going to be dressed in her attire. She was winning. So she was going to be in a lot of press. So in my mind, it's like you could maybe get in press if you wore it because they'll talk about how women are wearing their traditional attire. So there you go. So anyhow, I didn't convince her. She said no. So I'm like, okay. I didn't go back and forth. I was also very young then. And I decided to reach out to him. He's like, sure. He sent dresses. He customized something beautiful. Just to let you know, a designer like him customizing something starts like $30,000. And just so you know.
Fun.
And he's making it in Paris. And it was going to be dropped off through somebody physically coming in from
These
Lebanon.
poor physical people that
Are
have to
coming
like
from-
literally carry as if it were a body.
It was because if it shipped, it would have never made it on time.
Yeah, but like it's just crazy.
But
That's some shit that like normal people don't think happens. Like that's like a movie. Like
Yeah.
the dress is gonna be handed to John, and then it's gonna be passed off to Paul, and then he's gonna run it to
And if
Carol.
you do anything bad to the dress, you will be shot.
Well, to make sure it made it on time, and I was like, should I fly out to come get it? And we couldn't do any of the tailoring there, so we had to bring somebody here who was be able to do couture. That's a whole thing. So luckily he knew her measurements, and luckily she take care of herself. So anyhow, I get a text message, and it says that call me. So I'm like, okay. So she's like, hello, I've decided I want to go the traditional route. You're right. And my heart fell. Like I was like, I can't say no. What am I supposed to tell her? Sorry.
I hope I'm so high profile that you can't tell me no.
Like, so.
Because I'd be like, absolutely not.
Look, now I've learned there's tricks to say maybe, but also like, This is a client that you've worked with already for 4 or 5 years.
She's pretty high end.
She's pretty high end, but it's also like, you wouldn't even say it to her. You have to like call the man. There's no time to have that conversation because you know why? That person's already at the airport with the dress.
Yeah.
So I am having a nervous breakdown in my head. This is all within exactly 2 minutes, just so you know.
Okay.
Oh,
I was like, so like Daphne looks at me, and Daphne was my fashion director at the time, and like always doing the emails and helping. And she looked at me and she's like, "What? What's going on?" And Daphne is like the person I always should have next to me 24/7 because she's all like, she's corporate in her mind.
Is this Daphne I know?
Daphne, you know.
Yeah,
Yes.
I love her.
And she's still in my life, you see?
Yeah.
So she's like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I was like,
I'd be like, no, tell her no.
So my mom, I was living in my parents' house at the time, and my mom is like this big boss. And I go to her, I told her like, I don't know what to do. She's like, if you know, this is your career, you don't know what to do, then you shouldn't be in it. I'm like, thanks, what is this? Like, I'm having like, I was like, what the heck is
She's
this?
like, relax.
And I'm like, okay, Angie, think. So I get on the call. I call Zuhair Murad, and I'm like, or his team, and I'm like, I have an idea. And I was like, I just think that this isn't going to get her press, because if she wears, you know, a westernized dress, there's going to be so many other celebrities wearing it. She's not going to get photographed as much. So I was like, I think we should go with that route of a traditional dress, and we should save this dress for something else she has coming up. You know, I think, you know, she might be going to the Met Gala, or maybe an event that I know is happening in England. And I was like waiting to like hear like, sure, but we're going to invoice you. Like I was waiting for that, you know? And he was like, thank you so much for thinking of us like that. You're right. You know, if we're going to put this on, we'd rather it be saved for something with press.
Yeah.
And I was like,
You're like, no problem.
like all cocky, like, yeah, I thought of you guys and want to make sure.
Just doing it for you guys.
You know, that everyone's happy in the end. And I remember like, after that also got like, I still got flowers. Don't ask why. And text message from them. And I'm like, I had to take like a minute because I literally think I had to like my like soul left my body.
Yeah, you went into like fight or flight.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it was insane. Like, look, like I still like, because like I could have, first of all, she could have been like, I'm not paying for that.
Yeah.
And it could have been like burned a bridge with one of the biggest designers in the world. And then,
like one conversation.
I mean, this happens in the industry. Now I've like kind of understood it. Because I've seen it now with people who are like, you're going to be like, well, this is just the celebrities. Now I've seen it with people who are not celebrities, just your normal college student who I'm like getting ready for a business, like internship. So this, you know, someone asked me, can you please dress my friend's friend? He's trying to get interviews and COVID and, you know, like, so I always say, of course, you know. And, you know, we did the whole thing. And I have beautiful suits in my studio for men in many sizes. I have Tom Ford, I have Xenia, I have this. So I'm like, sure. I was, instead of like making him pay since he didn't, you know, have the funds, I was like, why don't you just borrow from me and rent. And I still showed him what he could get outside, you know, because you want to do that.
Right.
And you're wearing like a Tom Ford suit, so I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm sorry. And yeah, I am going to say that. I don't want to hear it. So decides to text me like the morning.
Oh, he had the audacity. Okay.
To text me in the morning, and he's like, I just feel like if I'm wearing Tom Ford, am I like selling myself to like, I don't know. I'm kind of like feeling more like I want to wear maybe Armani.
What the fuck?
And I was like, I come up, I'm like, you're going on a job interview. No one's asking you what you're wearing. This isn't a fucking red carpet.
Literally,
I literally said the fuck
no
word.
No one's gonna know.
And then he's like, don't you think like Tom, I'm more of an Armani guy? I'm like, bitch, you couldn't even buy H&M, and you're gonna sit there and tell me?
Okay, that's wild.
I don't care.
She said,
that's wild. I would have said that. I would have been like, are you kidding? Who the fuck do you think you are?
Yeah.
But this is what happened.
You're welcome.
The audacity.
And you know what? And he's gonna listen to this, and he's gonna love it because he apologized. The next day, he's like, I don't know. I think once I wore that suit, something happened to me. I'm like, but not to the person who put the suit on you.
Yeah.
I was like, that's supposed to make you feel good to get the job, not to come to be like an asshole.
Yeah.
But do you see? And he wanted me to come and get him a different suit. Like Tom Ford wasn't good enough. He's like, I like that. I'm thinking about the arm. They look literally almost identical, just the fabric's different.
Gotta love the ego.
Yeah, I don't know.
But my point to this story was it wasn't a celebrity.
Right, but I'm just saying.
It was a person who didn't even have a job.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, though, I don't think clothing would ever make me, like, treat someone like that.
We'll see. Because I'm going to style and see what happens.
I'm just saying, I think you'd be impressed by my character.
You know what it is? I'm a service.
Yeah.
So there are people who will treat you really bad when you know, no matter
like
what
any
service you give them. Like even if someone's coming to fix something at your home, it's a service.
Yeah.
You see some people are so kind to them and respect them, and some people are like snarky and be like, oh, you must like something, but I can't see it.
No, that goes down to character.
Yeah,
I literally,
it does.
for the longest time, my dad always said, like, you treat the janitor with the same respect as the CEO. It does not matter
100%.
what someone's value is, what their status is, what service, whatever. We are all human beings. Like, everybody deserves the same amount of respect. So
Yeah.
if somebody's going to turn on you in that way because their ego is feeling slightly heightened, ew.
But
Literally
even to
ew.
that point, let's just even take it to like the professional part of it. When you're, treating the dishwasher the same as the person who owns the store,
Right.
the restaurant, I'll tell you something. My parents owned a restaurant. So one day I was the dishwasher.
Right.
So when a waiter treated me really bad, guess who got fired? I was a dishwasher because the dishwasher called out. So
Yeah.
Daddy's little girl had to come and wash dishes.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I
But
completely
even
agree.
on profession, you never know who that person
Yeah.
is. Maybe they're undercover as an actor, or maybe they're undercover as
It's also
something.
just like it just comes down to like valuing human beings for
Yeah,
being
100%.
a human being. Like nothing of
Oh.
your job description like holds value in the sense that anybody should be treated any different than anybody else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the fact that somebody would treat you like that because it's described as a service. Your service is to heighten somebody's experience.
I agree
That's
with
a
you
beautiful
100%. I'm just
service.
saying there are sucky people out there. So
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
just thinking even in general, like you don't even know who that person really is. you
Ew,
know?
I literally hate ego.
If you ever wanted to drop a client, how would you do that?
I've done it before.
Are you just like, this isn't working out, I'm breaking up with you?
In the beginning it was more emotional.
Okay.
Like I would go through all these emotions, and then there's some people who have been really toxic to me.
Yeah,
And I don't think it's like, it's not even about like disrespect. I think it wasn't even to me, it was to like what they're wearing, the designers.
Yeah.
Like they would bring it to me like half ripped. I remember, I'll tell you a story. Cannes Film Festival. And Bella Hadid was supposed to wear this dress. And I got the dress for a movie back in the day to borrow it. The movie wasn't going to come out till later, so they let me, Christian Dior, through a client, let me pull whatever I wanted for this movie. And I felt so honored. Like, this is an honor to pull these kind of level dresses. And I remember that somebody wore the dress after, like a client of mine, which was fine. They said, okay. They gave me the dress back.
The client.
Yes.
Okay.
With piss on it.
No.
Yeah. A lot of people, when they're drinking a lot, I guess they lose control. And
Okay, come on.
No.
Grow up.
let me tell you something. What got me really upset. It is a disrespect to Christian Dior. It is a disrespect to me or the assistant who had to like figure that out. But even like throwing diamonds in a shoe, like, and you know what? You're gonna be like, well, Engie, maybe you have, because I have a mentor. They're like, well, maybe you're doing something wrong, like, because this is years ago, and then I'm in a car with a huge stylist, and I hear that her best friend, who's styling a huge supermodel right now, who was freaking out because she threw the diamonds in a shoe. She threw Harry Winston diamonds in a shoe. How dare you?
Why?
How dare you?
Why would she do that?
Because people suck.
End. Period.
So those people are, so to me, it's not about like, even if they last minute, like I don't have to build beautiful relationships with them. We don't have to hang out. We don't have to like have our kids hang out, which I'm very lucky that that is how it is.
Yeah.
But I will not let someone disrespect my resources. These designers are giving you stuff for free. And on to the point, if they're not tagging them right, they're not posting them right, I take it very offensive. And it has nothing to do with me. You don't want to tag me, you should, because it's not really, if you're paying me, there's like a whole theory, like, I'm sure you're going to want to ask, like, what's the story behind that? But if you don't tag that designer, why do you get to wear that clothes? And stop not tagging it on your first picture post.
Yeah.
I will like send them like a thing, but it's like to that point, I don't want to work with them anymore.
Yeah.
Again, 2023's new, contract.
Yeah.
Jackie, you'll have to sign it. Like, it's about respecting the clothes.
Absolutely.
And just understanding even the tagging, because it's like this industry, like this, like there's one of that, like sample is one.
Yeah.
Why do you think people do that? Are they just like so privileged that they don't see the
No, they're not
value?
privileged. She was not privileged. She
So
wasn't
I
even a
don't-
big, like, whatever.
I don't even understand.
She was
that,
actually,
'cause
I
you
think, like a
could've
blogger
given
model.
me your TJ Maxx sweater, and like if I accidentally like rubbed up against a car with like salt on it, I would be like, oh my god, I'm getting it dry cleaned. Like it doesn't matter. It's just like respect for another person. Like I'm my resource is allowing you to have a resource. So here you go. Whether it's TJ Maxx,
Yeah.
like
No.
Versace, like
And
I'm gonna
it
take
has
care of
nothing-
it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you something, because this isn't about somebody being like wealthy or not. Because the clients that are very wealthy will definitely not throw diamonds in a shoe.
Yeah.
Because they know how to handle their diamonds.
Yeah.
Let's just say that. Okay. It's not about class system. It has nothing to do with finances. It's just people suck,
Yeah.
and they're just like they don't care. It's not on
Yeah.
their tab.
Yeah.
Wild.
They think they're because they have a great stylist who could pull Harry Winston.
Right.
You know.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
They're
that's
pissing on a dress.
That's wild. What did
And
you
then
do?
I had to tell Dior the truth. I'm never gonna
Wait, did they
lie.
tell you that, or you just like
Found
it?
Oh, we've gotten clothes back with like blood from periods.
But why wouldn't they like say something? Like, God
Look,
forbid, like
look,
shit
that
happens.
can,
Sure,
no,
like,
that can happen. Look, it can happen. You're wearing.
but why wouldn't you
every
say
bodysuit.
something?
All
Like,
you should do, and like we have these conversations, Jackie. You and I have these conversations. Like when things
Yeah.
happen, call me.
Yeah.
Email me if you're embarrassed. Like, and there's no embarrassed. I see you people. Like,
But
in
the thing is you're gonna see it,
Right.
so you might as well say
They're
something.
just gonna hand it to you.
It
You're
just
gonna be
makes
like,
no
"Thank you."
sense.
because then I
Yeah.
can say like, hey, can you pre-wash a little bit on your hand? Like we can have a conversation.
Yeah.
So it's just also kind of like health issues. I think that's
Well,
really
that's
disgusting.
what. Why would? Oh, whoa! Like that's like really.
Because they don't care.
That's disgusting.
They treat you like you're not a human being, like you're nothing to them.
Ew. Ew, 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 ew.
Those stories, like I have a million of those.
I remember one of our first like big shoots together. Maybe we'll post one of the photos, but it's the one that we did in the city with Lindsay Adler, and I was
yes.
in that pink leotard with the diamond
It's amazing.
choker.
Yes.
That was like $1 million diamond choker, and she was putting it on my neck, and she whispers in my ear, she goes, "This is a," she'd be like, "This is a $1.2 million necklace, and we have to take these shoots now because someone has to run it to who was it? It was like Kylie Jenner,
Yeah.
or like one of the Kardashians."
It was one of the Kardashians.
And I was like.
You're like,
I will not move. I will not touch anything. Like I was so scared.
It was more like, hey, we can borrow for 2 hours. Let's get the shot and let's get it out.
yeah.
No, you were really good with it.
I was so scared though. Like
Yeah.
I didn't want to touch it. Like I didn't want like
No,
that
We
was
had security. We had security downstairs. Like
Yeah.
when you go to the Oscars and all this stuff, like when I work with the Worlds, I have security with me.
Yeah.
It's a couple things. When safety for yourself, but like how much people sometimes can find people where they are, who their personal shopper
Right,
is, and
right.
like God forbid something
What's
can happen.
there, yeah.
Like I stopped posting on Instagram a lot of like
the live stuff, like where you are at that moment.
at the.
kind of
I've
thing.
always post a
Yeah.
little bit later now because
I
a lot of
always post when I leave.
Yeah, or
I
like
always
hour
post
a day
locations
later.
when I
But
leave.
even just like I used to like love to show my racks and like I'm shopping for Chanel. But it's gotten to be like I've gotten like some really cryptic messages that like scare me. I'm a mom now. Like
Yeah.
this is kind of like I literally had to tell Dior the truth. I actually personally went, that's if you have to have a stylist go personally,
Yeah.
that's a problem.
Yeah.
And then like I also felt like they thankfully that they we didn't burn a bridge,
yeah.
but it was very embarrassing for me.
Yeah.
And like you're gonna be like, well, it's them, not you, but still it's you. Like you didn't take care of it. They gave it to you.
Yeah.
So
That's crazy.
it's
Oh my
disgusting and
God.
crazy. Like I'll tell you a funny intern story though. I think this one will be really good. So, and I think this is really helpful because I know a lot of kids now are gonna go get internships, and so like we become a family.
Yeah.
Like, the associates, the interns. We really do. I've had like over 100 interns. So
Wow.
The point is, I had one time this story that like it was like, again, another. What are you gonna do? You get 1 second to think. This isn't a Gen Z intern. I just want to make that clear. Although that's a whole other conversation. So, I'm working with a princess, and we just start working together. And it was like around 5:30, and we shop, we style, we spend the whole day with them. I want to also make it clear, like the princesses, all of them have always treated me with nothing but more like than uttermost respect. Like
That's great.
everything. So I guess like my intern was tired. It's only 5:30. Like it's not
Get a third coffee.
like
Figure it out. Yeah.
And I mean, she started at 12. I started at 4
Oh
a.m.
my
I don't
God.
care. Exactly. So we're in front of Saks Fifth Avenue, and she was like, "Oh, so maybe we should go inside now and like just try on shoes, like since I'm here too." And my intern literally so it's like we're like face to face. She like comes between me and the princess, and she's like, absolutely not. We are done. This has gone too much. I can't. No. We've worked too much today. This has been a crazy week. She cannot do this. She has...
Pointing to you.
She's pointing to the princess. She's like, and she's done enough. No, she can't. This isn't fair. No way. I thought I was like in a third dimensional world. I'm like, what is this? And then I saw my client's face, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm done. Like, this is going to be like that gut feeling where you're like sinking in.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, I'm going to have to disrespect my client, or I'm going to have to disrespect my intern, or I'm going to lose my job. What am I going to do? 1 second to think. And I'm like,
Intern's got to go.
Yeah.
so I tell the intern, which I'm really not a mean person. I try not to be.
But that was nasty, and you're the boss.
So I looked at her, and I was like, my Meryl Streep moment. And I was like, who gave you the authority to even speak?
Who are you?
I was like, you can leave and never come back. And I had to like do that in front of her, which I felt so bad to do. Like, I'm like, my knees were shivering. Like, I'm like, because I don't do that. Like, I would never do that. But I had to.
Yeah.
And then, you know, the princess walked away. And then I'm like, I apologize for that. I don't even know who this person is. Meanwhile, like.
She's new. She's gone.
She was technically new.
Yeah.
So, anyways, it's crazy because like the school wouldn't let me release her on the project. They're like, no, she has to stay with you. And I'm like, what? She told off a princess.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is a real royal. I don't know if you guys understand that. And I remember, so then later on, the princess was like, obviously not too thrilled. We had to have a real talk about this. And she was like, you know, I trust you to be around me. Like, Engie, that was very, and she was really nice about it. She was like, because I would have been like.
She was probably hurt, if anything. Like, that hurt my
like,
feelings.
It was very like, and it was just, like, she got in her face.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Wow.
And by the way, the one time we don't bring the bodyguards because we're like hanging out and going.
Right.
That's
like,
fucking ballsy.
It's like she fed you lunch. We went and she got you nice. Like, you know, half the time sometimes they're just like chilling. They become like family. In front of us. And I was just like, you know, so never do that, guys. Like if you're going for an internship and you can't handle it, after the conversation's done and the client walks away, come up to your boss and be like, I need to leave.
This isn't for me.
Yeah. Like, you know, finish the day and say that technically. But,
Don't
or
yell
suck
at
it
a
up and just do it because then you get a great recommendation.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I interned at Vogue. Do you understand what I had to do? You don't.
Yeah.
Like,
And
you don't.
sometimes too, like you just need like a 10-minute break. Like if she was really feeling like fatigued or whatever it was, or just
She
drained,
wasn't
like
even fighting for herself, Jackie. She was fighting for me.
yeah.
So then the client could think that like I
you
complained.
said something, yeah.
And I was not complaining. I was
Yeah.
having a field day. Like this is my
Right.
that's the best time for me.
Right.
You know? And I was, you know, but you know, I didn't feel good to like yell at her, but I had to.
It's crazy.
You're a lot nicer than I would have been.
You would have been in shock though.
Yeah.
And then I called Daphne up and I remember I'm like, we need to get new interns. You need to interview them. She's like, you hired her. I was like, you should vet her.
Yeah.
She's like, what do you want me to do? Run 10 blocks, make her run, make her do something. So now like when we get all these resumes.
Yeah.
How fast can you run a mile?
Yeah. With heels on.
Yeah.
No, like, but no, my interns are treated very well, I think. It's just, this is how the industry is. It's either
you
you
just gotta
can
be
do
prepared
it
for
or you
anything.
can't. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, Engie, can you be a doctor? No, I can't. I can't sit in a room and study hours a day. I just can't do it. And I'm not going to. So, yeah, there you go. But the funniest thing is, it's like we get these resumes right now. Like, I just spoke at something, like a convention, and all these kids came. I was like shocked because like the other stylists seemed like they would have had the following. But everyone came up to me and it was like all these resumes, like lines. Like it was like 90 people. And I had to like hug, take pictures, and like, resumes.
Yeah.
And I felt like, more than 90% followed up and sent me their stuff and called me and text me still to every day.
Yeah.
But I said to them, like, clearly, if you want this job, like, here's 3 things to know. It's going to be a hustle. Mm-hmm. It's going to be hard work.
Yeah.
And you might not be getting, the finances that you want in the beginning.
I just feel like as any beginner, intern, newest, like you start at the bottom.
They don't think that. Like, this. Ask me why I don't have an intern.
Tell an Anna Wintour story.
Yeah.
I started my career actually interning at Vogue. So in college, I interned there. And I, was in the accessories closet, meaning like that was my responsibility, was the accessories world more than the clothing world. And the day-to-day life of that is pretty much you organize everything by color order, designer order, from gloves, hats to shoes. And then you get everything ready for pulls when editors are coming in and trying to make the room ready for annual winter. And I think I did such a great job there. I was happy. It was very difficult. Guys, remember, this is 2005 and 6 and 7 when I was there. It's not like there's nothing that came out. There was no the city, Laguna Beach. You didn't know anything. There's no Google, literally. You know, there was, but there wasn't. Like, you know, we didn't have phones. Like, let's see where we're going in New York. So I remember that Anna, one of her assistants, was sick, and I had to fill in. And I remember, like, I already went in there so naive, like, not knowing that world, you know? Like, we didn't know we had to call, like, a PR firm to call Marc Jacobs to borrow 10 dresses. Like, you have to learn that, like, when you get there.
Great.
You know? And most of the girls that work there are, like, socialites' daughters or, like, other editor daughters or, like, you know, that kind of world. So they're already, like, and...
They get it.
They don't even get it. Like, it doesn't matter if they make a mistake. You know, like, I'm from Jersey, so it's like...
She's Anna Wintour. Like, who cares who they are?
These girls had the access of, like, didn't matter what they kind of did. But some of the editors did care, and that's why they promoted me, because I worked so hard and they knew I didn't have that background. Like, being a socialite's daughter or something.
So you step in, you're like, hey.
I didn't have a choice. I would have never said yes. Because I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
Because I knew it was going to be like, here's a million tasks, go get them done. But when it's for one person, then there's like one person to blame if they do it wrong. So it was like to get her tennis skirts. And it was like, just get her tennis skirts. It wasn't like, here's her size, here's the place, here's the color, nothing. And I know now, like, looking back, it like, because we've watched Devil Wears Prada, so we kind of like, duh, Engie, like, but yeah, but when you're like, again, from Jersey, first time in the fashion industry, there's no like, where do you get tennis skirts? Like, there's no, you know, there's no like background of understanding that. So I call my dad, because my dad's like a businessman and smart, and I'm like, Dad, I have to get skirts, like, for Anna Wintour. And he's like, okay. So, and he told me, like, you know, this place, which is actually where she goes, called Paragon. And we had drivers then. So I had Felix, and he was so cool, drove me downtown and to get the tennis skirts. And I'm like, and this is funny, you can laugh at me. And I'm standing there and I'm like, what size do I get? And then when I, like, you know, to my mind, she's probably a 0 or a 2. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, really short skirts. Like, she's older, she's not. So I had a brain, a brain that works, right? And that's really important in this industry. Then I'm like, oh my God. So I take a size, like a couple sizes, 0, 2, and 4 for the height, the length. I'm like, whatever. So I take like 2 size 4s. And then I'm like, and then I take a size 2 because of the measurement. And then I'm like, okay. So then I get a text like, where are you? Like, they want it now, you know? And I'm like, oh my God. So then call my dad, because my dad used to be like in the city a lot, you know? Yeah. And I was like, I need to find a seamstress or something. Like, and he was like, okay, so go to Delancey Street. There's a lot of tailors over there. They'll get it done. He, like, you know, he knew. Dad. Yeah, Dad knew everything. So I literally did that. I'm like, Felix, we're going to Delancey Street. I literally knock on like every door and be like, excuse me, are there tailors here? Some people think I'm crazy. And some people are like, yes, come back here. Like, if it's like a hidden thing.
It's legit. Okay. Yeah.
So then the text, so when they call me, where are you? I'm like, oh, I'm getting it altered. It was like I could hear like the happiness through the phone. Like, okay, this girl's got a brain, you know? I thought they were going to yell at me.
So you knew her measurements?
No.
What were you getting altered?
I got 2 size 4s because of the length. It made one a size 0 and made one size 2.
Got it. So you picked the larger size because it was just longer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Went back, brought them up, and all this turnaround time, like Vogue was by like Times Square. This is all the way downtown. So I made it back before they could even like ask again, where are you? Don't ask how. I don't know. Like, an angel like help me. So then, and I get in the car, and like the driver, like, he's happy, turning around, he's like he's like happy, like, okay, this girl's got it. Like, it's like, you think they're doing this, like, when I look back, I'm like, were they doing this on purpose?
Were they like testing you?
Like testing me? Or was it like, you know? And sometimes the drivers would give you like some things to do, be like, no, you're gonna have to go to Brooklyn for that. I'm like, what's Brooklyn? Like, back 2005, I'm like, what's Brooklyn? Like, you don't go to Brooklyn. Like, I was like, my mom has only passed more than 2 bridges.
Right. You're like, that's too far.
This is too far for me. So so I like pretty much accomplished it, and I went back and it worked out, and it actually fit her. And it's funny because fast forward like 10, 15 years later, actually, my client wore the wrong suit. Like, I packed 2 different looks for him, and he ended up wearing the wrong one for the actual event. So I had to go, you know, figure it out and like help him. So I finally got to bring him the look, change it up, and it was an event for Vogue. And Anna Wintour was hosting, of course. And, you know, I try to be like nonchalant and not be like in anyone's face or try to like be a part of the party. I'm like, you know, BTS behind the scenes. And I was able to maneuver and help them get him to like sign autographs and all this stuff. And then I went to the bar to sit there till he was done with the party because he was also performing.
Mm-hmm.
And next thing I know is Anna Wintour comes behind me and she's like, hello. So Josh was introduced me to her and he was like, this is Engie. She like, you know, started her life at Vogue. And she was like, nice to meet you. And she's like, why are you sitting at the bar? And I was like, oh, it's okay. She's like, I was like, oh, it's okay. Like, I don't, you know, I was like frozen for a minute. And then she literally says, quote unquote, she goes, why don't you join us? And I was like, it's okay. And then she says, you look like you're ready to come out and hang out with us. And I said to her, okay. And then she said, yeah, don't be silly. You can't be sitting at a bar. And not only did I get to like hang with them, like she got me like the best seat, like sitting with the major editors. And I felt like so great.
Wow.
That's awesome.
So she was like a kind woman.
Oh, I think she's a great woman.
That's awesome.
Yeah, like, you know, when you work the way she does and you just have to, like, it's just, like, no nonsense.
Yeah.
You know, like.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you see, like, the how things can change so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
But she gives so much back to the fashion industry and everything. So.
Yeah.
I would love to get her take on, like, how she feels about Devil Wears Prada.
Oh, you could see that online. She
Yeah.
does talk about it on interviews.
Okay. I'll have to find out.
I think now they make it into a joke. And, like, she's fine with it. I mean, like, at the end of the day, like, a whole movie came out based on her character. But if you really look into the character.
Right. Meryl Streep's character is very...
All of us could have totally became her at some point in our lives. Like,
Right.
sometimes I feel I'm starting to turn into, like, Devil Wears, like, Tom Ford. Because,
like with your intern.
yeah. Or, like, sometimes with the clients. It's like, really?
Yeah.
You know? But we try not to.
So really quick, what are some fashion trends that are going to be coming up this summer and spring?
A lot of color. We're definitely going to be removing those leggings and sweatpants. Like, we're getting out of that. There's going to be a lot of shift dresses. There's going to be crochet. There's going to be tube tops. Like, you know, depends where you're going again, you know?
Yeah.
But, like, color.
What kind of advice would you give to anybody looking to get into the fashion industry, maybe personal styling, becoming a stylist to your level? What's, like, some advice you would give to maybe even, like, young Engie?
I would say intern. So I interned with many magazines, Vogue. I interned at Teen Vogue. I interned in Paris and French Vogue. I interned for a stylist for a couple of years. I think that's very important. And different fields in the industry. Do editorial, you know, find stylists and intern for them. And then it'll also kind of educate you different areas, but you kind of need to know all of it to be successful.
Yeah.
And then hopefully one of them you love and you land and, you know, stay there for a little bit.
Love and you land.
I love that. Well, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. Engie, thanks for spending the morning with us. We appreciate it so much. We always love hearing your stories.
Thanks for the coffee. So good.
Oh my God, yes. Pour More. Check them out in Hoboken. Check out their Instagram. We're going to link all their stuff on our descriptions, on our Instagram. You will not be able to miss it. But literally, this coffee's empty. Like, this was so good. This was so good. So if you're looking for a nice, solid, strong, good tasting coffee in Hoboken, do not slip up. Go check out Pour More.
And if you're looking for an internship, you can email me.
Literally.
Ng44@gmail.
Be
Reach
prepared to
out
work
to
past
Engie.
5:30.
Yes.
Please do.
Honestly, working for Engie is the experience of a lifetime. Just working with you and like seeing all the experiences from that
Thank you.
side is incredible. You'll learn a lot. I've like just learned a lot about being a businesswoman, like literally like learning and growing from you. So I appreciate that. And if you want a nice mentor or somebody who will give you honest feedback and show you the ropes of this industry, definitely reach out to Engie. She's awesome. All right. Well, enjoy the rest of your Monday, everyone. We will see you next week.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.